If you have a startup and your startup has not generated any revenue so far, I'm here to tell you there is hope. If you're looking for a startup business loan with no income, there is hope. Here is a review I really want you to pay attention to. Number 10, we had Triton Capital. Our score, 7.8 over 10. So when you think about Triton Capital, you want to think essentially about equipment financing. So they don't do actually regular loans. They do equipment loans for startups, okay? And they have loans up all the way to $250,000. So if you have a startup and you're looking for, let's say you want to finance your business car, or you want to finance some piece of machinery or equipment, you might want to look into Triton Capital. We love the fact that their eligibility requirements are kind of flexible. We love that a lot. So maximum loan amount, $250,000, and a minimum credit score, 500 to 600, okay? And the APR goes from 5.99 to 35.99%. So this is really good. And here are the pros and cons of Triton Capital. So they can fund, they can fund within 1 to 2 business days, no prepayment penalty, and flexible repayment options. Fantastic, okay? So you can pay on a monthly basis, quarterly, annually, or semi-annually. Fantastic. What about the cons? They typically require a personal guarantee in some cases and UCC lien in some cases, and they require, if you are a startup, they might want you to have a projected annual revenue that is kind of high. It could be like six digits depending on the state you're applying from. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. We love having this sort of convo every now and then. And so number 9, we have Fundbox. Our score, 8 over 10. So when we think about startup business loans with no income requirements, Fundbox is kind of cool because they do offer unsecured business loans for startups. They do offer also lines of credit. So they have 2 types of business credit. So for business loans, they have they will cap you at $150,000. That's the maximum here. And for a business loan, they will also for the business line of credit, you can get somewhere between $150,000 to $200,000. That's the maximum. Okay, minimum credit score 500, 525 minimum. Sometimes 550 depending on the state you're applying from. And the APR goes from 10% to 79%. Okay, but overall, this is a great Fundbox is a great lender for startups that are looking for a business loan with no income, and they actually will fund you real fast, okay? And they actually the only thing is that they want you to have that. So if you are a startup, they want you to show some revenue on the personal side. They might ask you for your personal revenue or your personal income. Number 8, we have On Deck. Our score, 8.2 over 10. So when we think about On Deck, we think about emergency line of credit for your startup. Okay, so if your startup has no income and is not generating income right now and wants to have some kind of funding, some kind of startup business funding, this is kind of cool. On Deck could be the right lender for you. We love the fact that with On Deck you may have a same day funding. They do have a low credit score requirements. And the thing is, they actually they will reward repeat borrowers, and sometimes they will give you fewer fees. Okay, and now they're on the cons. Their APRs is kind of high, like they revolve around 29%, and they do have a monthly maintenance fee if you have a line of credit with them. So through On Deck, you are getting a startup business line of credit with no income, not a business loan, but a startup business line of credit. Okay, it's important to mention, and you can actually get funds up to $10,000 in a matter of minutes, and they can approve you for a maximum of $100,000. Okay, and one thing I want to say here is that On Deck is kind of cool because they approve you real fast, and they have a system in place to sort of monitor your account as you are with them. Like the more you are with them, the more you show them fidelity and responsible use of funds. They will bump your limits over and over and over. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. I'm having a conversation with you about the top 10 startup business loans with no income requirements. Sometimes you can have bad credit, fair credit, it doesn't matter, they will approve you. So if you have no income, they can still work with you. Number 7, we have here Fund Through. Our score, 8.5 over 10. So Fund Through is kind of cool for invoice financing, okay? So you can actually be approved for invoices that are worth $15,000 all the way to $100,000. This is really cool. And in some cases, we have seen Fund Through approve invoices all the way to $10 million. So if you are a startup, it doesn't really matter. As long as you have invoices, as long as you have accounts receivable, even if you are not generating income right now, but you have in sales, because income means revenue minus expenses. So you might have revenue and not having income, right? Because as a startup, maybe your expenses are above or higher than your sales, right? But it is okay. Fund 3 will work with you, and they'll approve you all the way to $10 million, and you might get your funds within 24 hours. Fantastic. Number 6 we have here, Guidant Financial. Our score 8.6 over 10. So Guidant Financial is really cool also for startups. If you are looking for a startup business loan with no income, even if you haven't opened yet, they'll work with you, okay? And the APR here goes from 12% to 18% with Guidant, which is really good when you think about the overall state of this economy and what the other lenders are charging, banks, online lenders, credit unions, and whatnot. So overall, this is kind of cool. And in terms of loan amounts, you can qualify for a startup business loan with no income requirements from $10,000 to $150,000. The APR, again, I just said it, 12 to 18%. The minimum credit score can go from 600 all the way to 650. Okay, and the delta here depends on the state you're applying from. In some state they might actually approve you if you are 600. Okay, and so one thing I want to say here is that they can approve you within 1 business day. So Guidant is really fast in some cases. Number 5 we have Bluevine. Our score 8.8 over 10. So when you think about Bluevine for your startup business loan with no income, we don't have an actual loan here. We have a business line of credit, okay? Not a business loan arrangement, a business line of credit. So Bluevine will work with you even if you have no income. The thing is that you need to build a relationship with Bluevine. If you want to get a startup business, let's say a credit arrangement from Bluevine, build a relationship. How do you do that? Now, Bluevine has started lately, like they actually have now a business bank account whereby you are able to have deposits at their online bank account. So trying to have you want to open a business bank account with Bluevine, okay? And you want to gradually just park some of your cash, some of your startup cash with Bluevine, so that if you need them for a business line of credit, they will actually work with you. Okay, so with Bluevine, rates start at around minimum 8%. That's the APR here, and if you have bad or fair credit, that's okay. And here, even if you have low time in business requirements, even if you have a low time in business, that's fine because the requirements is kind of flexible here. Okay, even if you're a startup, Bluevine will work with you as long as you have the relationship that I was just talking about. And loan amounts go from 5,000 to $250,000. Okay, and so the minimum credit score 525 to 625. Number 4, we have SmartBiz. Our score 9 over 10. Boss, SmartBiz is kind of cool. I mean, they have smart loans. What we love a lot with SmartBiz is that if you are looking for a startup business loan with no income, this lender will work with you. Okay, they actually do a lot of SmartBiz does a lot of loans. So they do SBA loans. They do startup business loans. They do established business loans. They do business loans of credit. So they do a lot of stuff. So we love this flexibility. We love this diversity a lot. Okay, so you're able to actually work with a lot of lenders. And what we love here is that SmartBiz also has excellent customer reviews, customer service also. So if you're a startup, you know you are in good hands. Okay, and the loan amounts are kind of generous here also because they go from 30,000 all the way to 5 million. Now, if you are a startup and you are looking for a business loan, even though you have no income, obviously you're not going to qualify for $5 million. But again, you'll get something, and that's what you need anywhere, right? You don't need $10 million or $5 million. You need something to get you to the next payroll, to the next paycheck, or to the next next year in terms of operational stability. Okay, so in terms of minimum credit score, they want you to be around 625, or 525 rather, 525 all the way to 660. So the delta, the variation depends on the state you're applying from. Number 3, we have here Upgrade. Our score 9.4 over 10. Before I speak about Upgrade, I want to remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about the top 10 startup business loans with no income requirements. Okay. All right, let's talk about Upgrade. So Upgrade is not really a business loan per se; it's a personal loan. But you can actually use this personal loan to for business purposes. Okay, even if you are a sole proprietorship, for example, this is even better. But if you're not, you can also get the loan from Upgrade to qualify. The reason why we put Upgrade here is because Upgrade is one of the few lenders who are flexible in terms of the use of loan proceeds. Okay, they're not going to ask you necessarily to use the cash for personal purposes. No, they're comfortable even if you use the cash for business purposes. And Upgrade will qualify you from from $1,000 to $50,000, APR 8.49% to 35.99%. Okay, and your credit score has to be around a 520 to 620 minimum. Okay, you can get your cash within 1 to 4 business days, and maximum loan term 7 years, minimum loan term 2 years. Number 2, we have Lendio, our score 9.6 over 10. So when you think about Lendio, I want you to think about a loan marketplace. Okay, so if you are looking for a startup business loan with no income, this is a great place for you, because you can actually have a marketplace whereby you have 75 to 80 lenders who are competing, who are vying for your business, who will get you the best loans, the best arrangements possible. Okay, so we love that a lot. So Lendio is a great institution. It's a great place, and you have a free application. You have so what you do is you actually submit only one application, and your application gets dispatched to the network of 75 or 80 lenders, and they'll look at your file, they'll look at your profile, and they'll get back to you. What we love about Lendio is that you also have the soft pull capability. So if you are a startup, this is really good, because you need to save your credit in the first place, right? So if you have a soft pull, this is kind of cool, because again, it's all about credit score preservation. So what we love about Lendio, the platform allows you to compare lenders in minutes. It's free to use with soft credit check. They search for 11 types of business financing, and most customer reviews are positive. So this is really great. In terms of loan amount, you're looking at $500 to $5 million, and the APR starts at around 6%, and the minimum credit score of 560. So this is kind of cool. A loan term 1 to 25 years. Number 1, the best of the best. When it comes to the top 10 startup business loans with no income requirements, we have Finance Factory. Our score 9 over 10. So when you think about Finance Factory, I want you to think about the best overall, and in terms of startup business loans with no income. Okay, so you're looking at a loan amount from $5,000 to $500,000, so $500,000. You have an APR that goes from 6% to 9%. Okay, minimum credit score is 600. Sometimes it can be 550, and the loan term 2 to 5 years. So overall, this is kind of cool. This is kind of interesting. What we love about the Finance Factory is that the startup financing options are also available for borrowers with a limited credit histories. Okay, and so they tend to fund you real quick. So this is just fantastic. I want to give you a bonus here. If you have been listening so far, I want to reward you by giving you a bonus here. So we have in the research for this show, we have come across 2 other lenders that I want to share with you real quick. I want to talk to you about. So you have Fora Financial. So Fora Financial is great. Is a great online term loan for your startup business, even though you have no income. Okay. So here you have they actually want you to have a minimum credit score of 500, and the loan here you have a working capital loans up to $750,000. So we're up to $750,000. Okay, we love Fora Financial because cash can be available quickly. You can get a discount for prepaying. No collateral is required, and they have a low minimum credit score requirement. So this is really good. You have a very interesting arrangement here that we love a lot. And one thing we don't like here is that they want you in some cases to have in some states to have at least $12,000 in gross sales per month. Okay, so if you are lucky to live in a state where the arrangements are like, if you don't have income, you could qualify, then you are good to go. But sometimes in a few cases, they will ask you to provide a proof of income. So if you are in that state, then this is not good for you. And the next one is Kiva. Okay, Kiva here, and Kiva is kind of cool for micro loans. Okay, so you don't really have, this is like a non-profit lender that actually would take care of you if you are looking for a small loan amount for your startup. Okay, with no income. When we talk about loan amount, they're small. We are speaking about maximum $15,000. Okay, so you're not gonna get like a large loan amount, but you're gonna get something, and and sometimes that something can really help you pay for inventory, pay for office supplies, pay for like cover payroll, or even pay for inventory. So there's a lot of things you can do with $15,000. Okay, what we love about Kiva is that basically, even if you have bad credit, they'll qualify you. Okay, the only problem here is that it can take up to 45 days to raise funds, because you're raising funds really. Okay, because the loan is not coming from a lender or whatever. It's basically you are relying on your social network for crowdfunding. So that type of business funding takes longer to materialize. Let me give you an overview here, so we are on the same page when we talk about startup business loans with no income. It's very important to understand that lenders pay attention to a couple of things, not just the income they pay attention to. They'll pay attention to, for example, your cash inflows and cash outflows. So even if you're not generating income, as I said before, income just means revenue minus expenses. Okay, so you might be generating revenue. So if you are generating revenue, how much are you generating? So the lender will look at that. The lender will pay attention to basically what is the process, what is the state, what is the condition of your accounts receivable. Okay, so when we analyze lenders for startup business loans with no income, we pay attention to the time and business requirements, the annual revenue requirements, the willingness to work with new or risky industries. We look at the APRs, the fees such as origination fees. We look at loan amounts. We look at the repayment terms. We look at credit score requirements. We look at turnaround time. We look at state availability. We look at the application process. We look at the lender reputation itself. Okay, so we really look at a constellation of factors before judging a lender. And it's really important to understand that if you are a startup and you have no income and you're looking for a business loan, no matter your credit, you can qualify. Not a problem. Okay. And it's important for you to actually make sure you find the right lender for you. The lender has to be willing to actually work with in your state. Okay, and it's important to understand here is that it's always better to start with the bank where you currently are at, or the credit union, because you already have that relationship. Let me give you a few pro tips to kind of help you get better funding faster if you are a startup and you are looking for a startup business loan with no income. You can try other options. You can try equity investments. You can try a home equity loan or HELOCs, for example. Okay, you can try crowdfunding. I was speaking to you earlier about Kiva. It's the type of crowdfunding. You can try business grants. You can try credit cards. You can try ROBs. ROBs are rollover for business startups. It's a type of funding. Okay, and or you can try family or friend loans. So the bottom line here is that there are a lot of possibilities. Okay, so don't think that if I'm looking for a startup business loan with no income, I have to necessarily go to a lender to kind of get the cash, because sometimes you might get even more by actually relying on alternative funding sources. Okay, very important to remember. Before I do a recap here, let me just quickly tell you the approach that we follow. We do have a methodical approach in-house when it comes to evaluating, categorizing, and listing business loans, startup business loans with no income on this show. Check this out. All right, let's quickly recap here. Number 1. So the top 10 startup business loans with no income verification. Number 1, we have Finance Factory, our score, 9.8 over 10. Number 2, we have Lendio, 9.6 over 10. Number 3, we have Upgrade, 9.4 over 10. Number 4, we have Smart Biz, 9 over 10. Number 5, we have Blue Vine, 8.8 over 10. Number 6, we have Guidance Financial, 8.6 over 10. Number 7, we have Fund Through, 8.5 over 10. Number 8, we have On Deck, 8.2 over 10. Number 9, we have Fundbox, 8 over 10. Number 10, last but not the least, we have Triton Capital. Our score is 7.8 over 10. And in the bonus category, we also share with you Fora Financial and Kiva. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it, boss. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.